Hello and welcome to the first episode of Big Game Hunter. I am the titular hunter, and this is the chronicle of my misadventures hunting for thrifty and discount board games in real life. It's a sunny Labor Day weekend here in Austin, Texas, and I'm driving around hunting at half-price books primarily because they have a 20% off discount all Labor Day weekend, and I find a lot of cool board games there. Our first stop is the North Lamar half-price books location, a very large store with a lot of product on the shelves if you catch it at the right time. To our left, we have Goodwill, which gives me nothing but diseases. We'll check back with Goodwill in a bit. For now, let's focus on half-price books. As with a lot of these stores, they're well stocked with a lot of cheap jigsaw puzzles and crap for the most part. Oh, there's a copy of Zathura, the Space Jumanji. That's one I've always kind of wanted, but not enough to actually spend money on it. Got the staples, you got the Life, the movie-themed, TV-themed games like Lost, some weird 80s game, I'm not even sure what that was, to be honest. I got some Clue Junior. There's some more Clue down below us here in a second, but nothing great so far, to be honest. Some stuff that's been here for a very long time that I've seen many times. Operation, there's the other Clue Mysteries, that's what it was. And we have some frat guys that were trying to buy games as well, but looking at some random stuff. We have the Star Trek deck building game, but all the half-price books seem to have gotten copies of that in. I thought something cool there, but no, just the medieval weird game. Yeah, really not a lot here. Seen-Its, you're going to see a lot of this kind of stuff at half-price books, Seen-Its, party games, things like that. Our next stop is going to be the Rare Books Room, and the Rare Books Room is kind of hilarious, and you'll see why in just a second. The first game I saw was the World of Warcraft adventure game, which has actually been on their shelf, and they've somehow raised the price on this game. I believe that was $67.99. It's really hard to read the ink on that sticker now, but yeah, this game can be found for like $20 online. It's not even that rare. Got some Deadlands RPG books, and a copy of Tannhauser, which is something I've really actually wanted, but not for $50. The box is a little bit scuffed up. Not sure on this one. It's one I want, but I don't think I really want to pay retail for something in that kind of shape, honestly, even at 20% off. We have a couple Avalon Hill games here. Geronimo, this is $30, which is pretty respectable, but not really one I really wanted, to be honest. I kind of stopped getting the Avalon Hill games. They take up a lot of space. I don't get to play them all that often. It looks pretty cool. I like the art on that one. We have Anzio, another classic, kind of a weird shaped box for Avalon Hill, more of a flat box than their bookshelf cases, but again, $30, probably not a bad price, not something I care to pay. I believe this is going to be Starjammer. Yeah. So Spelljammer, sorry, it's a D&D supplement, I believe. It's really expensive, not even close. And this is, oh my god, this is the creepiest game ever. The Dr. Ruth's Game of Good Sex. Even as a novelty, $15, I'm not paying that for a weird, creepy game. I'm not doing it. That's just odd. And we have Dragon's Gold. I believe it's $30. I don't know anything about it. I'm not going to pay that much for a card game. So yeah, pretty much the Rare Books Room is a smorgasbord of overpriced stuff. They find random stuff and think they have gold, and they put it in the Rare Books Room. A lot of the RPG books, stuff like that, but nothing I'm really too interested in. So our next stop is going to be Goodwill, and I find nothing at Goodwills here. I see people all the time finding great stuff at their Goodwills, but ours are always terrible, and this one is no real exception, honestly. Stop at the bins up front to take a look at them. Sometimes you'll find some video games in here, because I do hunt for more than just board games as well, but nothing there. Found a terrible movie, The Last Airbender. Found some LPs, some CDs. Nothing interesting at all. No games so far, so yeah, this is so far pretty much par for the course. And I didn't really want to put my hands in there because I'm scared. Over here in the video game section, or the DVD section, I did find some video games, but the problem with this Goodwill is that they charge $6.99 no matter what the game is. It's just $6.99 flat, which is a terrible deal for some games like that Rock Band there. Sometimes I find Genesis games for $7, but I usually want to pay $5 or less for things like that. Yeah, lots of VHS. If you want a copy of Dr. Zhivago, there it is, right there. Almost bought it. Goodwill almost had me. Goodwill's mostly a bust, but they did have 2 copies of my favorite movie, Jurassic Park. I don't know why it's multiplying, but
life finds a way.
My next stop on this little tour is another half-price books on South Lamar this time. I haven't been going to this one as long, but I found some awesome stuff here in the past. So I always have pretty high hopes here, and it looks pretty solid to start off. We have some interesting stuff up top, quite a well-stocked area. We have Pecking Order, a great two-player card game, really fun, light game. Bakong, which is one I was tempted to get. Pecking Order I already had a copy of. Bakong, it was tempting, but I just didn't pull the trigger on. That was 15 bucks. Not bad, but you know, I could find that cheaper probably. Some of the general party games, Craniums, you have your headbands, things like that. I had a copy of Sienna, which is an interesting one, but here's what I came over here for, and it was being blocked by some people a second ago. So we do have Hordes High Command, which is the deck building game for the Hordes game from Privateer Press. Pretty cool, it was pretty hefty, felt like it was all in there, so I grabbed that. They have a copy of Survival of the Fittest expansion for Last on Earth, probably my favorite Last on Earth expansion. And then we have Talisman, a game I already have, but a solid game nonetheless. Nothing much down below here, nothing I really needed, but they did have the Game of Thrones living card game starter set up there as well, which I also grabbed. So I do check out the comics section as well. I'm a big fan of getting graphic novels especially, and usually I take a little bit closer look here, but honestly today I wasn't really feeling it. I was just seeing if anything stood out to me. It was very obvious. Sometimes you'll even find some game books hidden away in here. Lots of people found copies of Fiasco, an RPG, in their comic section. But I'm actually going to go down to the actual RPG books here, because they have a ton of them here. Not a bad selection at all. We have a lot of third-party games. We have a bunch of D&D 4th edition. Now that 5th edition's out, that stuff has started to flood the game market here. So if you're interested in getting into that, this is a good time to do that. Lots of cheap games. Privateer Press, lots of Hordes books, War Machine, things like that. But down at the bottom, as we get closer past the Star Wars here, there actually are some games here sometimes, and we had a weird one here. The Gamer World is an RPG, but this is Pirates of the Spanish Main, and I didn't know what this was at first, to be honest. I was a big fan of the Pirates of the Spanish Main game back when it was a constructible game, but this was actually the card game. I think it's called Shuffle the Deck. I don't know why it was in a card box, though. It was kind of odd. I was interested at first because I thought it was just Pirates of the Spanish Main. I didn't really read it very closely, and I didn't actually look at the price too closely. I thought it was a little cheaper. I ended up putting it back. It looks like I get it here, but I don't. It actually frustrates me because now that when I took a closer look at it, it's the Shuffle the Deck card game, but somebody actually cut up the box that it comes in and just taped it to a card box, and that I hate when people destroy the original boxes to things, even if they're not that great. But up here we have the Dragon Riders of Pern, Ad McCaffrey. This is a Mayfair game, kind of expensive, like 50 bucks or something like that. Nothing I'd be interested in, but just interesting. So this is the local half-price books in San Marcos, right up the street from me, on the last night of the Labor Day sale. And our section, our half-price books, is pretty barren as far as games goes, to be honest. This is our RPG books, just 2 rows of them, a bunch of puzzles. Nothing crazy, nothing great, really not impressive. It's really pretty barren in this store, to be honest, as far as games. Sometimes you catch it at the right time, you'll find a lot of stuff, but in this case, not so much. Nothing special as far as the RPGs are concerned. I was really looking for some miniature games, to be honest, but we have some more puzzles over here, some party game stuff, a lot of Scenits. There are always a ton of Scenits at this store. Some Trivial Pursuits, all the standard fare. Futurama Yahtzee was it kind of interesting because I like the Bender model, but yeah, overall nothing too impressive. And that's really this whole section. Over to the right, though, we do have the clearance book section, some party games, but they had this. This was a weird find for me. But behind this copy of Barrel of Monkeys, we have the Lord of the Rings CCG, and I am so excited I'd start throwing them all over the place. Not really, but I am a big fan of dead or out-of-print CCGs from the late 90s, early 2000s, right before that bubble burst. The starter decks were $5 a piece. They did have booster packs there. I might go back and get some booster packs eventually, but I thought a couple of starter decks would be fun to have around. So Hastings isn't really a discount store, but I have found some cool stuff here from time to time. It's kind of an entertainment store. Their retail section is pretty retail-y, just a bunch of big box stuff. Although they have started getting more strategy games, they're not on this shelf. Stuff like Pandemic and Flashpoint Fire Rescue, Mage Wars, things like that. They're in the more strategy-oriented section, but I'm here for the discount section. We have some action figures, some interesting stuff here, some buttons, things like that. We have Lone Ranger HeroClix, which nobody wants, including myself, even though I do play HeroClix. And then something catches my eye. We have Lord of the Rings, a deck building game from Cryptozoic. $10? Yeah, I'll bite on that. That's not bad. I can always give it as a gift if I don't like it myself, but I'm willing to give it a shot. And they had Dice Masters, and I am missing 3 cards from this entire set, and I couldn't pass it up. I have a problem, people. Please stop me from buying again. It's terrible. So our last stop is going to be Go Games and Toys Clearance. This is an outlet store at our local outlet malls. And I found a couple good things here in the past. It's not one of my common stops, but somewhere I swing by every so often. So this outlet store carries a lot of games that are mainly big box cast-off stuff from their other game stores, because it's an outlet mall where they send their extra copies, or sometimes they'll send damaged copies here that can't sell at full price. Today, nothing crazy. Looks like a bunch of generic stuff, but we do see a copy of Ingenious. Ingenious is a really cool game, a nice abstract game. One of the few abstracts I own. I actually got my copy here originally, so I don't really need it here, but that would have been a good price if I wanted to get it. Stratego, kind of an okay game. That's really the best they have. Some Jungle Speed off to the left in the card game section. But nothing really I'm interested in. But in the kids section, we found a copy of Zularetto, and I own Zularetto, but $25 would have been an awesome price for it. I think it's a great game. If I ever find someone that needs it, I would probably come back here and get it for them. I think it's a really awesome little family weight game. I found something else cool down here. Hey, That's My Fish Fantasy Flight game. I have the smaller box version of this, but this is $12.50, so it's going to be $6, around $6 when I check out. I can't pass it up. Just too good of a deal. I gotta get it. I can give it to a friend as a gift or something like that. $6 for a great game is hard to pass up. And then finally we have Snorta here. Snorta, it's okay. It looks interesting. I've heard good things. I kept missing it on Target sales, but I can't justify $12 for it, so I'm gonna leave that for now. So guys, here is the haul for September. As you can see, there's a few extra things here that I didn't show off on camera. There were a few things I got before the others that I just didn't have any recording equipment or phone to check out, so there are a few extra things in here. I did get a couple things from my FLGS. We got a couple things from that original half price books earlier in the month that we struck out at, and something here from a big box retailer as well. We've got a copy of Blocus 3D. This came from the North Lamar Half Price Books location. I found it probably overpaid a little bit, about $13, but had a ripped corner, but one that I really wanted to get. I found these 2 Malifaux crews at Dragon's Lair in Austin, one of my friendly local game stores. These were both half off because they're metal models and they're trying to clear them out. I play Malifaux, it's a really cool game, and I'm really happy to get 2 different crews for that cheap. I found this copy of Star Trek Catan at Target, of all places. It was $15 on clearance. Not the biggest Catan fan or Star Trek fan, however, it's really well done. It's a really good remake of Catan, and I can always give it as a gift, so I can't pass up a game that quality for $15 brand new. We have our Lord of the Rings haul here, the Cryptozoic Lord of the Rings deck building game. Not the biggest fan of their Chimera series deck building games. I did play DC Deck Builder. It was okay, not great, but for $10 I'm willing to give anything a shot. And for $10 I got those 2 starter decks for the Lord of the Rings CCG. Probably a little bit overpaid. I can definitely get them cheaper online, but it's rare that I find collectible card games that old in person, so I'm really happy to have it, and I will probably go back and buy some booster packs if they ever go a little bit cheaper. So this is another off-screen find that I had. This is from the North Lamar Half Price Books location, the same time that I got the Blocus 3D. And this is something I didn't know what it was, actually. I'm a huge fan of Swamp Thing, so I was already attracted to it. It's got like a paper-mache Swamp Thing head in there. Turns out this is a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive action figure. So kind of like these SDCC action figures that they released to comic book stores around the same time. This is really cool. It's a really interesting find. I think you can get about the same price online. I got it for $15, but hey, that's not something I see in stores every day. Really awesome box. I probably won't even open it. It's probably going to go on the shelf in the game room, so I'm really happy to have that. Hey, That's My Fish. I couldn't pass it up for $6. This is one of my favorite small box FFG games, and I already have the smaller box version, but I'm definitely going to give this to one of my friends as a gift. It's a really cool game, and I want people to play it. For $6, you can't pass up an awesome game like this. One thing that I failed to do this entire episode, and something I always try to do, is check the box. And that's going to be rule number one of any of this stuff. You need to check the box to make sure all the components are there, because you could come home with just a box full of bricks or something and not even think about it. Fortunately, I was lucky in this situation, and both of the next two games are kind of the crown jewels of this entire trip. This is the Game of Thrones LCG starter. I did already have one, but I wanted to get another one for deck building purposes. And when I got home, I checked it, and it turns out it has the chapter pack, A Time of Trials, which is $15 MSRP, $10 online, and it had an entire pack of Cersei Lannister card sleeves. These are Fantasy Flight card sleeves and an Ultra Pro deck box. So there's definitely some insane added value here. Plus, I get all the extra cards that I can use to build the deck. This was under $20 after the 20% off for Labor Day. So an awesome deal all around. So our last item is the Horde's High Command, which kind of turned out to be a crown jewel of this. It not only has all 389 cards, but it looks like the previous owner has also fully sleeved it in Fantasy Flight sleeves, including 400 sleeves. There was 389 plus 11 extra that were still in the box that I've already taken out. But that is an added $3 per 50, so $24 worth of sleeves in this box. So even if I don't like the game, I'll have 400 sleeves to work with and sleeve other games. So definitely an awesome value. Again, this is this is less than $20 with the Labor Day discount. So pretty much paying less than the cost of the sleeves for the entire game plus sleeves. So guys, I hope you enjoyed our first episode of Big Game Hunter, but I want to hear from you. If you want to share your thrift haul, discount game haul, or just a really cool game you find while hunting in real life, tag us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook in the links below, and we can share it on our next episode of Big Game Hunter. I plan to do an episode once a month, or whenever we can get enough footage to give you a good episode. I want to make sure there's some cool stuff in there, and some funny stuff if possible. But until next time guys, happy trails and happy hunting.